An interesting tidbit about radio personality Adam Carolla: he predicted President Donald Trump's victory all the way back in 2008 when he told a radio show co-host, the quote, "He's going to be president in 8 years, you understand? That everybody. He'll be president one day and it'll be in our lifetime." And now, after he served the president for 4 years, Adam Carolla is going to join us now to talk about the strengths of any of potential Democratic rivals and how he kind of sees the landscape here. Here to join himself is Adam Carolla. He's host of the Adam Carolla podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, Adam. We really appreciate it. Absolutely. So, Adam, I mean, first of all, 2008, that's a ballsy time to call for Donald Trump's victory 8 years later. What led you to that conclusion? I'm sure you've told this story many times, but give us your version.
I was doing a morning show. You got to talk for 4 hours on a morning show. We got on to Donald. For some reason, I called the year he was going to be the president, and I'm so bad at presidential years that I didn't even know that would have been a voting presidential year. So it was a little intuition mixed with some luck. But I also explained in the mid-90s that then Bruce Jenner was becoming a woman. So I have a little spidey sense for this kind of stuff.
Wow, you've got quite the professorial powers there. I mean, I think it is funny. I mean, I've co-hosted a morning show as well, on radio in particular, so I know exactly what you mean in terms of filling 4 hours. I guess, as a noted political, you're kind of delved into the world of politics since that 8 years. How do you see the current landscape currently with Trump, and what is it about the celebrity power in that world that you came from that made you predict his rise in 2008?
I always tell everyone what Trump did to America is sort of what he did to me when I was doing a show. I did a show, it was a network show produced by Seinfeld, I don't know, 8-10 years ago. And me and Trump were the guests, like celebrity guests on the show with Gloria Estefan from the Miami Sound Machine. And Trump walked up to me before we went out on stage and he said, "Mark my words, Adam, it's going to be their highest rated show ever." And I thought, why would it be? Because you're not much of a celebrity. I'm not much of a celebrity. Gloria's not much of a celebrity. Why would this be the highest rated ever? And he went, "It will be. Trust me." And then we finished the show and he said, "Check the ratings tomorrow. I guarantee we crushed it. We're going to be number one." And he left. And for a moment, I felt good about myself. And I thought, maybe I am number one. Maybe we will be number one. And I never even checked the ratings, and I'm sure we were number 37, but I still felt good. And I realized he just did that to America.
Right. I've met Trump, and that is a very apt description of what the man is like. I think generally, as somebody who's worked in the business now, entertainment, we've seen the convergence of those two things. Do you see anybody on the Democratic side who has that star power, I guess, ability in order to cross the cultural divide?
At this point, I think we're looking for authenticity now. With Trump, we have a sort of grandiose authenticity, but it's still an authenticity. Like, you know what you're getting with Trump. I think the reason Kamala Harris is not in the race anymore is because she was inauthentic. She came across as sort of cobbled together. She would give whatever opinion she thought was popular. So I think authentic. I don't think Elizabeth Warren has it. Bernie Sanders does have it, but he's authentic, kooky authentic, which is scary. I think it would be more Tulsi Gabbard type, who has authenticity with a sort of dignity and a more middle of the road approach to politics. I think it'll be someone a little closer to the center.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting that you say Tulsi Gabbard there. I mean, she is the most heterodox, I guess, Democratic candidate. She's criticized positions on open borders. She's a staunch advocate of free speech. I think it's interesting there in what you say is what you're really looking at is somebody who doesn't necessarily fit into a box. Is that what you think the future is? I mean, Trump himself, of course, was a Democrat before he was a Republican.
Well, it's interesting that all those movies they made in the 80s and 90s when like Kevin Costner would become the candidate because he was a regular guy and he wasn't a career politician. Maybe the time for the Hillary Clintons and the sort of career politicians maybe the more we learn about Washington, the more that time has passed. So maybe what we're going to be looking at is two, you get what you get, sincere people, one over the top and grandiose in Donald Trump, and maybe someone on the Democratic side, an Andrew Yang type or whatever, who's a much different version, but very authentic.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Adam. Really appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll have more Rising for you right after this.